Hi, so I'm going to show you how to wire wrap a crystal using 20 gauge wire. And so I'm going to choose one of these crystals. I think I will do this one. This one is a geode. You can find the meanings of the crystals on my website. I will pop the link to my website in the description. This crystal is a geode. I will also start listing birthstones because I get asked quite a lot for birthstones, but I'm still listing those on the website at the moment. So I'll pop that down in the description. So I think we're going to use the copper wire. So we take a length of copper wire, I'd say about ½ meter, maybe a bit more, so you've got room to maneuver. And then we find the center, so just put the two ends together, find the center, and then with your round nose pliers we make a little loop at the top. So take the center of your wire, and depending on the size of the crystal, for the size of the hoop at the top, you can guess that to your own preference. And then we wrap the wire around 3 times. The more you work with this wire, the easier it becomes. It's quite tricky to begin with, but lots of practice. And then just when you've got your 3 loops at the top, we then do 3 turns or 2 turns. Again, that's preference. And then we have the loop for the top of the crystal. And then choose which side you would like your geode to sit. I think that side's probably the best side. And then put the hoop on the top of the crystal, lying flat, because we're going to pop some jump beads in the top there, so it sits on the necklace perfectly. So align the wires at the back of the crystal, hold them in place, and then bring the wire at the front of the crystal, holding that firmly in place, and you can cross it over in the center. So have the wires crossing over, and from there you can start to do a circle. So we just cross the wire, loop the wire around wire, and then loop that wire around that wire. And it's quite tricky to show you because I keep my thumb on that loop whilst I start the loop. So, and I keep my thumb on that, and I start to, just to hold it in place, start a spiral. So it's quite tricky to keep it all in place. So we're starting a spiral on there. And you can go around as many times as you like. It depends how you want your crystal to look. And then we can wrap the wire around the back and hoop it around the hoop. Now this one I'm going to go round, back, round twice, because I like to hook the loop from the front so it holds the loop onto the crystal. Now if it's a little bit floppy, at this point I start to tighten it up, and so you can get your flat nose pliers and just give it a bit of a crimp at the back, and that will tighten the wires onto the crystal. It's still a bit floppy there, so I will pop another loop. Cat got spooked by something. Okay, so just tighten it, and that's much better. It's firmly in place. So I like to do the ones that go horizontal across the back as well, just to keep everything nice and tight. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this wire around the loop, like giving it as if the loop is like a head and you're wrapping a scarf. And I'm doing one at a time. You can do two at a time, but these are going in opposite directions because I put one wire from the back and one wire from the front. So I need to do this one at a time. And then we just snip off the end, just so you've got enough. Sorry, it's my cat. Come on, shift. No, you can't go there. You can probably hear her purring. Right. Okay, so then you take the little bit in the back. Typical, a cat always intrudes when you're busy. Here we go. So we just pop the back of that wire into the hoop and then tuck it in to the bowl that you created with the scarfing. And then we can do the other wire, wrapping around the same, and then when you get to the back, go halfway across, kind of snip off the end, leaving enough to tuck in to your hoop. And I sometimes just use the round nose pliers just to, and there we have a wire wrapped crystal. And the back, it's a nice yellow geode, this crystal. As I say, I got the meanings of crystals on my website. I'll drop the link in the description. I think I will show you how I put the jump rings on and how I pop it onto the necklace. I quite like that. You can add more design to it. This one looks like it might need tightening up, so you can pop a crink in there. You can play about with it until you're satisfied with the look. when you first start with the wire wrapping, it can be quite tricky. It's hard to maneuver the wire, but your fingers do get used to the force you need to put into the wire wrapping. You do get used to it. It does become easier. So perseverance and lots of practice. So now I'm going to pop some jump rings on the crystal. Sometimes it's very difficult to get the right colour. So I used 3 jump rings. So between these 2 colours, and I seem to have lost one now anyway, so it's very difficult to get the right colour. That's probably the closest, or you can go with the brighter one. So I'm going to go with these 3. So that's quite close, but it's never perfect. It's only on the odd occasion you get it completely perfect. I have a jump ring, and this works by popping the jump ring in the... So you grab the jump ring with your pliers, and then you prise it open, pop it in there, and if I can get it to focus, which is going to be quite difficult. Right, it's quite difficult to get it to focus, but you pop the jump ring in, you've got the gap at the top, and you just slide it backwards and forwards so that it just opens it up. Very difficult to see. And then you can pop that onto your jump ring, and then you've got your gap at the top. That's better. And then you can just squeeze it back together. And then you can get your next jump ring. Sometimes they're quite soft, so you can open it with, prise it open with your fingers. So front to back, and then pop that on. And then you can just squeeze it back together. And I have to work on this focusing. It's a bit not very good, but see if I can do another one. You just prise it back to front, and then it's easy to squeeze it back together. That one's got a little bit off center there. Some of them are quite soft, you don't need the ring. Some of them are hard wire, and it's easier just to use the ring. And so that's your 3 jump rings on your pendant. And then I just grab a necklace thong. It's just a vegan cord, and then I just slide the 3 rings onto the cord. And there you have your necklace. Thank you for watching.